Hi, my name is Regiana Fields, and I will be talking about environmental justice and waste sitting in Warren County, North Carolina. What is environmental justice? Environmental justice focuses on ensuring that all communities receive fair treatment when it comes to environmental decisions. It looks at how marginalized communities, especially low income, black, indigenous, and rural areas, experience disproportionate exposure to pollution. It also emphasizes equal participation in environmental policymaking. The case of Warren County, North Carolina. In 1982, PCB contaminated oil was illegally dumped across 240 miles of highway in North Carolina. When the state decided where to place the cleanup waste, they chose Warren County, a largely black and low income community with limited political power. This decision set the stage for one of the most significant environmental justice protests in United States history. Why Warren County? Warren County wasn't chosen by accident. It was chosen because officials believed the community lacked the political and or economic influence to fight back. Historical racial inequalities and poverty made the county more vulnerable to harmful sitting decisions, which is a major pattern we see all across the country. Spatial justice. Spatial justice looks at how certain communities are treated as more accountable for environmental hazard. In Warren County, hazardous facilities were placed in undervalued areas due to race and class. This reflects a broader issue where communities of color disproportionately live near landfills, highways, or industrial zones. Economic justice. Economic justice highlights the pressure poor communities face. Residents were told the landfill would bring jobs and tax revenue, but these promises were made in exchange for long term health risks. When a community feels forced to accept dangerous facilities due to poverty, justice is not being served. Social justice. Social justice is about who gets a voice. In Warren County, residents were excluded from the decision making process. Their concerns were not taken seriously, and state officials proceeded despite strong community opinions. This lack of participation is a form of injustice. Environmental blackmail. This leads to the idea of environmental blackmail, where communities are pressured to choose between economic survival or environmental health. It's a false choice. The jobs often are usually temporary and low paying, while the environmental damage is long lasting. Community voice. When we talk about community voice, you hear about a community fighting back. Hundreds of residents, including elders and young people, protested for weeks. Over 500 people were arrested, but their activism gained national attention. It helped spark what is now known as the modern environmental justice movement. Policy failure. The case exposed major policy failures, including weak environmental reviews and the absence of protections for marginalized communities. It showed that our environmental policies were not designed to treat all communities fairly in these cases. Policy and governance implications. Because of cases like Warren County, there are now stronger efforts to include community voices and evaluate environmental justice impacts. Many federal and state programs today exist because this community demanded change. As we look into the legacy of Warren County, it shows us how this county becomes powerful. It becomes powerful in reshaping environmental policies, inspired mapping tools like EJ Screen, and pushed environmental justice into national conversation. It proved that community resistance can create lasting policy change. And to wrap up my presentation in the Warren County case, it shows how spatial, economic, and social injustices intersect in environmental decision making. This case remains a reminder that environmental justice is not just about pollution, it's about fairness, equity, and human rights. It also shows the power of community voice in challenging environmental racism.